ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. I offer my humble pranams to Thakur Math Swamiji. Offer my humble pranams to Most Revered President Maharaj, Vice President Maharajjis, General Secretary Maharaj, and other senior monks, and my loving namaskars to other junior sadhus and brahmacharis, and my best wishes and namaskars to the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. Today, in my brief talk, I would like to discuss Sri Ramakrishna's contribution to Hinduism. It is a very vast subject, so I would like to limit myself to three ideas highlighted by Swami Vivekananda in his article Hinduism and Sri Ramakrishna. In that article, Swamiji says, I quote, "The all-merciful Lord as manifested in the present age as an incarnation, which in point of completeness in revelation, its synthetic harmonizing of all ideals, and its promoting of every sphere of spiritual culture surpasses the manifestation of all past ages." So that's probably why Swami Vivekananda addressed Sri Ramakrishna as Avatara Varishta. These three characteristics that was highlighted above are not distinct, unconnected ideas, but rather they are interconnected, one leading to another. The first is completeness of revelation. Well, we may argue, was not the revelation in the Vedas not complete? Is there anything that remains to be known beyond Brahman, by knowing which the Shruti says everything is known? The point is not that. While the preceding avatars stressed on a particular path, a particular aspect of the ultimate truth, in Sri Ramakrishna we find the natural synthesis of all the paths. Swamiji says, I quote, "Such a unique personality, such a synthesis of the utmost of jnana, yoga, bhakti and karma has never before appeared among the mankind." The life of Sri Ramakrishna proves that the greatest breadth, the highest catholicity and the utmost intensity can exist side by side in the same individual. To me, this is what completeness of revelation means. What Sister Nivedita wrote about Swamiji in her introduction to Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda is equally applicable to Sri Ramakrishna also. Sister Nivedita said, I quote, "He stands merely as the revealer, the interpreter to India of the treasures that she possesses in herself. The truths he preaches would have been as true had he never been born. Nay, more, they would have been equally authentic. The difference would have lain in the difficulty of access, in the want of modern clearness and incisiveness of statement, and in the loss of mutual coherence and unity." I think all these points apply equally well to the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna also. Thakur Ma and Swamiji came to make religion real, living, simple, easy and practical. At the time of Sri Ramakrishna's advent, an organized effort was going on to whitewash Hinduism to make it acceptable to Western minds, to straitjacket Hinduism in a narrow mold to make it appear as a pale imitation of Western religions, to strip it of its spiritual core and make it a social religion. But God willed otherwise, because Hinduism has something to offer which is suited to all minds. Its very strength lies in its infinite adaptability to infinite diversity of human characters and human temperaments. As Swamiji said in his paper of Hinduism at Chicago, from the high spiritual flights of Vedanta to the low ideas of idolatry, with its multifarious mythology, the agnosticism of the Buddhism and atheism of the Jains, each and all have a place in Hindu's religion. Hinduism is a vast conglomeration of institutions, customs, practices, belief systems, philosophies, cults, deities, scriptures, all of which add to its mind-boggling diversity. Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda accepted this whole of Hinduism with all its diversity. So the completeness of revelation which Swamiji mentions indicates this inclusive approach to various paths to God, an approach that accommodates all, even the entry through the back door alluded by Thakur. Rabindranath Tagore, in one of his articles, says, I quote, "Our dharma is the totality of our recent convictions, our beliefs, our practices, this world and next, all summed together. India has not split up her dharma by setting apart one side of it for practical and other for ornamental purposes. Dharma in India is religion for the whole of society. Its root reaches deep underground, but its top touches the heavens. And India has not contemplated the top apart from the root. She has looked on religion as embracing earth and heaven alike, overspreading the whole life of man like a big gigantic tree." Unquote. Sri Ramakrishna unearthed this soul of our nation and presented it for the good of one and all. So this is the message of both the master and his chosen disciple. So in the practical Vedanta, Swami Vivekananda said, all the fictitious difference between religion and life of the world must vanish, for the Vedanta teaches oneness of life throughout. So this is what Swamiji meant by the completeness in revelation. We need an integrating ideal that can overcome all the forces of disintegration accentuated by the technological advances, and that ideal becomes very powerful when there are no boundaries of time and space. The idea of oneness of all existence is that integrating ideal which the world badly needs now. Swami Vivekananda says, the one great idea that the world wants from us today is that eternal grand idea of the spiritual oneness of the whole universe. So Sri Ramakrishna gave us this all-comprehensive ideal, and for that reason we are eternally grateful to him. The second point Swamiji mentions is synthetic harmonizing of all the ideals. The word synthetic denotes that this harmonization of all ideals is not artificial, is not forced from outside, as were the attempts made at several point of time in Indian history. Rather, it is natural, organic, and flows from the underlying unity of all existence that we discussed just above. Harmony is valued in life. Harmony of notes produces brilliant music. Harmony of colors produces brilliant canvas. Harmony of wills is behind great movements that shape history. Harmony of efforts is behind all victories. Harmony of material resources give rise to monumental buildings, and harmony of individual ego with God's ego is the path to sainthood. Harmony is fundamental to peace, prosperity, happiness, and fulfillment. Sri Ramakrishna is the prophet of harmony. Swamiji says, Ramakrishna was such a harmony, such beings are few and far between. But keeping him and his teachings as the ideal, we can move on. We find this harmony reflected in every detail in the functioning of the monastic order which exists in his name. Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission are the twin wonders of modern world in the sense that they demonstrate to us the application and synthesis of harmony in every aspect of life. Thus we find monastic members from various nations, different religions, speaking different languages, of varied temperaments, qualities, and capacities, living and working together. The same is true for our devotees too. In fact, something of this harmony, Catholic outlook, broad-mindedness, inclusivity, is found in all those who are connected with Ramakrishna movement in some way or other. The temple that stands here is a supreme example of harmony and synthesis of various architectural styles. The emblem designed by Swamiji is again, in a nutshell, conveys the same idea. It is amazing to think how within a few years of his discipleship, Narendranath was able to fathom the uniqueness of Sri Ramakrishna and articulate it convincingly to others. I am referring to that remarkable incident at Dakshineshwar, where on a seemingly mundane day, the world was given a message of far-reaching implication. Thakur said, I quote, "Who are you to show compassion? No, it cannot be. Not compassion for others, but rather the service of man, recognizing him to be a veritable manifestation of God." In these simple words, Sri Ramakrishna gave a new gospel to the world. The life of Swami Vivekananda records Swamiji's exposition of this gospel. It is a long passage, well known to all of us, so I skip it, but I would like to mention that on this exposition of Swami Vivekananda is rest the entire edifice of Ramakrishna movement and also our own life. So it is better that we read, reread and internalize this teaching. Swamiji presents Sri Ramakrishna as a prophet of harmony and peace in the full splendor of his spiritual realization. Both of them have shown the possibility of living the highest ideal amidst a life of intense activity. They have shown the world the possibility of the union of nationalities on a basis of the highest ideal of life, that is love. This is the true Indian ideal which, according to Arnold Toynbee, the world has to take up if it has to survive. Finally, the third point, promoting of every sphere of spiritual culture. According to Swamiji, for religion to be relevant, it must be ready and able to help mankind in whatever condition he is, in servitude or in freedom, in the depths of degradation or on the heights of purity. Everywhere equally, it should be able to come to his aid. No one should be left outside the saving grace of religion. This all-encompassing nature of religion that has a place for everyone and everything we can find in our Vedas. Sri Ramakrishna had to go back to the Vedic source to bring back this message of harmony and synthesis. Swamiji alludes to this fact when he wrote in that article, Hinduism and Sri Ramakrishna, I quote, "So at the very dawn of this momentous epoch, the reconciliation of all aspects and ideals of religious thought and worship is being proclaimed. This boundless, all-embracing ideas had been lying inherent but so long concealed in the religion eternal and its scriptures, and now rediscovered, it is being declared to humanity in a trumpet voice." Swamiji took upon himself this, spreading this message of harmony and synthesis to the modern world. Josephine McLeod writes in one of her letters to Sister Nivedita, when Swamiji was in California during his second visit, McLeod mentions, quoting Swamiji, Swamiji says that what he had known hitherto is for men living in a cave alone, undisturbed. But now he will give to humanity something that will make for strength in the stress of daily life. All of us in this dreary sea of worldly existence are faced with severe storms, in the face of which we are left gasping for some support, some light, some hope, some strength that will help us to live and fight for another day. Religion should fulfill that function. The glory of Thakur and Swamiji lies in presenting such a comprehensive religion that touches and transforms every aspect of human existence. They have unleashed the power of religion, confined to prayer halls, limited to ritualistic observances, into this wide open world, and they have given us a strength to face the struggles of life. In this regard, I would like to quote a passage of Sister Christine's reminiscence where she speaks from a perspective of a Western religious person. She says, "Our conception of spirituality was not only clarified through knowing Swamiji, but transcended. Spirituality brings life, power, fire, glow, enthusiasm, and all the beautiful and positive things, never inertia, dullness, and weakness. Then, why one should have been so surprised to find a man of God with a power in an unusual degree? Why we have in the West always associated emaciation and anemic weakness with spirituality. Looking back upon it, now wonders how one could ever been so illogical. For spirit is life, Shakti, the divine energy." All of us who have read the life of Thakur will agree that his life was refreshingly different from that of other spiritual personalities. There was life, there was power, joy, there was fire and glow and enthusiasm and all the beautiful and positive things. There was never a moment of inertia or dullness or weakness, as Christine rightly points out. Swamiji echoes this aspect of Sri Ramakrishna's personality when he says, "We must be bright and cheerful. Long faces do not make religion. Religion should be the most joyful thing in the world because it is the best. Why should a man who loves God, who is pure, should be sorrowful? He should be like a happy child, be truly a child of God. For spirit is life, Shakti, divine energy." Thakur Ma and Swamiji have unlocked this power of religion for the good of humanity. Avatars come for that purpose. The nation in which an avatara is born receives a mighty push forward, and a national renewal takes place in all spheres. The rest of the world also cannot escape this overpowering force of such a spiritual impact, and consciously and unconsciously, they also began to absorb into the national psyche the powerful ideas of such a unique soul for further enrichment of the life and culture. This is what we see happening before our eyes in the last 190 years since the advent of Sri Ramakrishna. Just before I close my talk, I would like to say what Swamiji highlighted in that article. He said that Sri Ramakrishna is the prophet for this new age. Swamiji compares the path shown by Sri Ramakrishna as a newly laid out broad highway that will lead us to our destination quickly without much effort. For Sri Ramakrishna, the fulfillment of Indian sages, the sage for the time, sage of this time, one whose teaching is just now, in the present age, most beneficial. Mary Louise Bourke, in her monumental work, says that the age of science and technology demanded a new type of human being to match the power of science and technology, to develop the potential good, to control the latent evil, and in the end to transcend them utterly. Thakur and Swamiji was the example. Swamiji, by his example, showed what a man must become. By the precepts, he taught him how to attain that unprecedented, therefore undreamt stature and dimension. So, the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna is very much relevant in this present age, for he is the prophet of this modern age. I conclude my talk by quoting Swami Vivekananda again, because Swamiji in that article exhorts one and all to discard all ideal misgivings, weaknesses, and jealousies characteristics of enslaved peoples, and come and help in turning of this mighty wheel of new dispensation. He says, with the conviction firmly rooted in your heart that you are the servant of the Lord, his children, helpers in the fulfillment of his purpose, Swamiji exhorts each one of us to enter the arena of work. Jai Ramakrishna. Om Tat Sat.